So now we're going to briefly go over the different data points that nitch uses to come up with this NS score, nitch score. First of all, the clean tweets in the last 10 days. This particular data point is based on the number of tweets that have your keyword in them but do not have hyperlinks. And just to let you know, when it comes to the keyword, it's if you're familiar with pay-per-click, it's basically a phrase match. So we've kind of added the quotes, so any tweet with the exact phrase WordPress themes is what we're counting. We do filter out links, like I said, but we also filter out some other stuff that kind of proprietary. We're not going to give that away. But suffice it to say, we're getting rid of all of the tweets that are just basically marketing only. We don't really want to count those because to us that doesn't represent conversation. And if you want more details on the assumptions we made when we included these different data points and what we're pulling as far as data, just read the stuff below where you downloaded nitch. I'm not going to go into that much detail here in the video. Next, retweets in the last 10 days. This is the number of retweets with or without links. So this explains why, for this example, there are more retweets than there are actual tweets, because here we filtered out some of the tweets with, all of the tweets with links and some other stuff. We did not filter out the tweets with links here. And if you want to understand why we did that, again, read the FAQ just below where you downloaded nitch. The next line, monthly Google searches. This is pulling data directly from Google AdWords, their pay-per-click service, and it tells us how many times people on average are searching for this particular keyword phrase, WordPress themes. And then per click on AdWords. Again, if you're not familiar with Google AdWords, it's basically a place where people will pay to be shown on the search engines for a particular keyword. It gives you an idea of how valuable keywords are. So essentially for WordPress themes, on average, people are paying about 45 cents each time somebody clicks on their ad. You might be wondering, why are we doing just 10 days here? That's because Twitter's API only goes back 10 days, so that's all we can pull. We can't pull like a month's worth of data or a year's worth of data. It's only the most current 10 days. The other thing you'll notice is when you tabulate, you may have a delay, and that is based on how quickly Twitter and Google's API and how quickly your internet is working. You know, you just have to be patient. Sometimes it might take up to a minute to get all of this data pulled and then calculated. I want to show you kind of the secret feature of nitch. Whenever you do a keyword search, you can always click this Show 30 Keyword Suggestions, click Tabulate, and once this data is pulled, then you see here we have suggested keywords. What you can do is go through here and take a look at and see how many times these keywords are searched on monthly. That'll give you an idea if you've missed something that's very popular. And then what you can do is click on it. You just click on that tab and it will run that particular search for you automatically and just kind of filter it back through. So that's kind of what I call the quick pick feature of nitch, and it allows you to really research a niche quickly. I want to just make a mention, when you're doing your keyword research for real-time stuff, it's not the same thing as creating your saved searches that we've talked about in the training. You don't really necessarily want to use all of the different search operators that we've talked about, like the negative search operators. You don't need to use the question mark, and you definitely don't want to use the Twitter only search operators like the near colon search operator or the capital OR search operator that we've talked about. These things don't really work on nitch because that's not what this tool is for. This tool is for niche research, and what you're doing is researching broad keywords and then trying to narrow them down to really find a sweet spot where people are having conversations in real time about keywords or niches or products that are valuable. Now we can talk about the NS or nitch score. Where does this come from? Well, essentially what it is a formula that we have developed that kind of takes into consideration these four numbers plus the experience that we've had doing real-time marketing. And it just combines all of those in sort of an algorithmic way and comes up with a number. This number, of course, would be arbitrary unless we told you what you're looking for. Generally speaking, what we suggest is to try to find keywords that fall between 50 and 200. You don't want to go too low, and you definitely don't want to go too high. 50 to 200 is what you're looking for. If your keyword is tightly related to a niche or a product that you have, and you get a niche snitch score of 50 to 200, then you're on to something. There are exceptions to the rule, and we'll be sharing those as training goes forward, but for the most part, you're looking for a niche snitch score of 50 to 200.